All right. Welcome, world. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right. So I wanted to hop on here and respond to a message that I got talking about, you know, the messages that I can't virtually sleep. I can virtually never sleep. And here's my response to when you have issues feeling like you can never sleep, and right, and why getting up helps, but also getting up can backfire too. So if you ever virtually felt like you can never sleep, you've probably heard the advice, get out of bed and do something productive, right? Get out of bed, do something productive, or get out of bed and do something boring to get yourself into a state of, boredom. So then that way you tire yourself out. And sometimes that helps because it passes time and you reduce the pressure to actually force sleep. And but if you're doing productive, if you're having like these productive nights over and over again, that's not a sleep hack. That's just the nervous system that has just pretty much given you all the clues of what's happening. So and which is not falling asleep, just being productive at night. And there's a difference between tiring yourself out and just continuing to let the, as they say, the midnight candle burn, at both ends. So in this live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down why getting up can calm the panic, of being awake, but also how productivity, can accidentally keep your body in alert mode, and what to do instead. Something that's going to really get you back to sleep, quickly. And then that one goal at night that matters most, more importantly than sleep, and that one goal is safety. You hear me talk about that a lot. So I'm talking to that person that feels like they can never virtually sleep, and you probably heard that advice. I have to get out of bed, or I can't stay in bed if you're not supposed to stay in bed if you are having an issue sleeping. Well, I want to start off by saying first, you are not broken. Okay, you're not broken, and if you could sleep, you would. I'm pretty sure you would. And when you're awake at night, your body starts to treat it like a problem that you can't solve, and that pressure alone can keep you awake. So getting out of bed helps for one main reason, right? And that is just to remove the fight. That's the only thing that you're trying to do when you're getting out of bed at night to get sleep, when you can't sleep, right? You stop laying there and you stop thinking, why am I not sleeping yet? And you give your nervous system a different message, right? And the message that you're trying to deliver to your nervous system is nothing is wrong. I'm just awake, right? Nothing is wrong. I'm just awake. And that can actually lower that internal alarm to keep you up. So here's the part that nobody says out loud, right? The part that nobody says out loud is this, right? The part that nobody says aloud is that the the productive thing that you're trying to do, like the bright lights, the phone scrolling, cleaning intensely, working, emails, you're trying to do all these things. Your nervous system only hears that we're up, we're at work mode, we're on duty. So you pass time, but you stay in alert mode. And that's the problem, is that the things that you're doing are too productive, and this isn't just a sleep issue, it's more like a state issue, right? So if your body doesn't feel safe, it won't fully power down. And the goal is, at 2 a.m. It's not to knock yourself out, at 2 or 3 a.m. It's not to try to put yourself down, knock yourself out, because you can't fall asleep. The goal is to teach your body it's safe right now. That's the ultimate goal, is to teach your body that it's safe right now. So here's the safer version of getting up instead of, being productive and doing all these different things that are keeping you up and keeping you on alert, keeping you on duty throughout the night. Okay. You want to make sure that the lights are dim as much as possible. So that does mean no phone, no TVs, especially if you got like, a big bright TV, that right there can actually block, your body's rhythm and block your brain waves from slowing down, right? So you do one boring thing, one gentle activity, one boring thing. You can read a history book. I tell clients, read a history book of somebody that inspires you. You know, read their autobiography. You know, of somebody that you find um, inspiring. Read their autobiography. It's super boring. Well, to me it is. Well, pick something that you think is boring. You know, coloring. Do some art. You know, draw or paint. I know that sounds crazy to do at 2 or 3 in the morning, but those activities slow the brain down. You know, you can do slow stretching, right? You can even do yoga, fold clothes, fold the towels, do laundry. And it's very important to also incorporate the breathing with it too, making sure that you're elongating your exhale. Make sure that your exhale is longer than the inhale. That's what I mean by elongating. You know, inhale for 4, exhale for 6, exhale for 8. You know, and make sure that that exhale is longer than the inhale. Super important. And then also too, you can add in some self-talk, some positive self-talk, which is super, super powerful. You know, you could say to yourself quietly, if you've done all those things or while doing those things, you can say that to yourself that nothing is required of me right now. Nothing is required of me right now. And that line tells your nervous system to stand down. Okay, that line right there tells your nervous system there is no emergency. There is no fire that we have to put out. We don't have to be on duty. We can stand down. And this time, you know, we give ourselves not only permission to sleep, but we give ourselves permission to rest. We give ourselves permission to not sleep or to not rest. But we don't have to feel obligated to be on duty. You know, when you tell yourself that, you take yourself off the hook in that sense. I know it kind of doesn't make sense, but it totally will make sense. Just try it, right? Just try it if you haven't. So if you can virtually never sleep, you know, in closing, if you can virtually never sleep, it's not because you're failing. It's because your body has learned to stay on watch. And we don't just fix that with just doing mindless productivity activities. We don't fix that with pressure. We fix that with safety. Okay, we fix that with safety. All right. So if you got some value from this video, drop a nugget that you picked up from the video. You can also comment reset, and I'll shoot you a link to my free 3-day sleep training if that's something that you're interested in, or if you want to hop on a free strategy call, you can go ahead and DM me or just type in the comments reset. All right. And yeah, just take these nuggets that I gave out, man. If this is something that you're struggling with, and I hear from this a lot from clients that they get up at 2 or 3 in the morning and they're doing these things that are actually sabotaging their sleep, and that is doing things that are high pressure, doing things that we call productive, like getting work done, but also keep the brain active. And we don't want to do that. That's actually moving in the opposite direction of real rest. Okay. All right. So with that said, I'm out. Have a blessed day. Peace.